I was born on the summer solstice, and when you're born on the summer solstice, you realize that if this is the high holy days to the ancient Egyptians, then maybe what it's trying to tell you is something not simply personal, but something quite spectacular. And I recently celebrated the summer solstice and also my birthday. And I was so struck by the magic of community, of the willingness to gather around the celebratory nature of the solstice. Because you think, well, what is the solstice? And in tradition, the solstice is when the sun stops moving in time and stands erect. And I liken that to looking at the globe, and when you look at the globe, you see the spindle, the hole in the middle that connects it. And this is in ancient times called the anima mundi, or the world soul, this idea of the spine, that when we return to the solstice moment, that we are no longer turning in time, but really we have reached this place at the center around which time is moving. And this is why it is always such a propitious time in tradition to plant seeds, to let go of the things that maybe have brought us here, but are no longer serving us. And therefore we give ourselves permission in these moments. And for me, as I say, it's a birthday, but it's also, the solstice is a rebirth day for the human species, because this is when we ourselves stop defining ourselves by what's next and actually realize that we are that which is finally standing upright, finally beginning to understand that maybe, just maybe, why the solstice, both winter and summer, have been these alignment points from everything from Stonehenge to the mounds like in Ireland. We always see, or Luxor in Egypt, we always say, well, why was it aligned to the solstice? And this is when the solstitial energy is when a light shines like a seed and ovum, that what is impregnated, what is filled with light at that moment is a seed that will be born and will continue to grow, to develop according to the intentions we plant it with. And so the great celebration of this feeling of life passing and many moons, as I've celebrated many birthdays now, but it's also given me an overview of what the solstice really is always getting at, which is bringing us into a participation with our relationship with nature and the turning motion of the planets. And that when we know this, we realize, oh, our atoms are turning within me. And everything is ultimately not about the optics, but about the energy. And so on the summer solstice and the winter solstice, on the equinoxes in different ways, this is always when our human story is not just about ourselves, but, as I said, the high holy day of the ancient Egyptians, meaning that there was a recognition that, like with the flooding of the Nile, a return of fertility was possible because it had been triggered by the willingness to be born into a new condition. So for me, my birthday, the summer solstice, are about always a gathering of energy that says, forgive the things that brought you here, allow them to be given back to the soil and to the stars and to the sky. Give yourself permission to realize that it was never to get it right. It was always to make it more beautiful, more possible, more humble than we thought. Because the solstice says, when you stand upright, when you stop moving forward in time, you realize that you are not only in time, you are of all time, and therefore celebrate, because the solstice, as with you, are as ancient can be. Happy summer solstice, and I guess happy birthday to Leigh.